All right, what's up YouTube? It is November 5th and I finally got the fuel system components here for the Charger. So I'll show you what I got laid out here. I've got some Aeromotive components, some Fragola PTFE fuel line. So I got number 8 fuel line here. This is the 6000 hose, they call it, and you need to get the specific ends for that. So I actually have the right ends, number 8, number 6 PTFE fittings. So when you get the 6000 hose, make sure you get the 6000 specific ends for it. So you'll see this is the part number. You're getting number 6 straight ends, which I have here. Starts with a 680-106 in black. So number 6 ends, and I've got some 90-degree ends. Number 8, that's the part number for those. And then some number 8 straights, and they look like that and look like that. But this is all PTFE stuff, which has the inner liner, which is like a plastic inner liner, but it's good for years and years of use. It won't deteriorate like the standard rubber lines will. And I got that because I plan to run E85 on this car eventually. Along with those, we've got the specific fittings with the O-rings that's gonna fit in here. Fuel pressure regulator. Here's the part number for that if you're interested. 13136. And then the associated fittings. This is the filter. Is the inline filter I've got for it. It's a 12350. It's called the microglass style, but it's inline. To adapt that has number 10 inlets on it. So you need these fittings, which is a number 10 to number 8. It's a part number 15610. So it adapts a number 10 on this end to a number 8. So what I'm doing is I'm actually coming out of the tank with number 8, feeding it to the filter, going up to the regulator with number 8 line, then I'm running a number 6 return. So I'm feeding the engine with number 8, going back with number 6. That's easily good for over 800 horsepower with that fuel line set up. I've got a 340 liter per hour pump, which is mounted in the tank. And just to show you what I've got here, this is the brand new Aeromotive Stealth tank system that they have for the car. This is designed to fit all 68 to 70 Chargers. And I think on the box somewhere, there is a part number, yep, right here. So there's your part number, 1815904. Fuel tank, it says 70 Charger, but actually this is for 68 270 on there. And again, I chose the 340 liter per hour pump option, which is E85 compatible, and that will easily support over 600 horsepower on E85 with forced induction, which is more than the car is going to make with that single pump on it. If I did just natural aspirated, it'd support a lot more, but you know, again, for what I'm doing, that's plenty more than what the engine's going to make. That's probably double more than what the engine's actually going to make. But this is what it looks like. So this is the front. I'll put my fittings in here. This actually was screwed and adapted for a number 6 outlet coming out, and then the number 6 return and a number 8 outlet. The pump's here. This is where you fill it up. That's going to plug in. It looks like we got some grounding strap or something here. Maybe that's just to go over here for the ground for the tank. Looks like it does have some ventilation here if I choose to use it. I'm not sure if my stock tank has it. If it does, I'll mirror what the stock tank has. I think mine does not have it. See here? So not sure if I have to use that yet or not. So I'm getting ready to take my tank down. I've already drained all the fuel out of it. So I'm getting ready to take these 2 suspending bolts here off, take the straps down, lower the tank down. Just got to make sure I get this filler neck where it drops in out of this rubber plug. Because the tank had been changed a few years ago, I feel like I can reuse this rubber donut where it goes in here for the filler neck. Hopefully I can, because the tank did not come with one, which is disappointing. You would hope it would come with a new rubber filler neck, but it didn't. But that's cool. We'll get the tank switched out, and then I'm gonna start plumbing my fuel lines. I'll start at the back and work to the front. I did get 20 feet of line, so I can actually run my line how I want. And you'll notice here, because this car had a mechanical fuel pump mounted to the engine, I took the factory lines off, but the factory line ran up and over and around the frame rail here, and then around the edge of the body, up through here, and then up and around to the engine. I'm gonna run it where I'm gonna put my regulator over here, so I'm actually gonna run it down and around this way. So stay tuned and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here's the replacement tank that had been put in there a few years back, and you'll see looks identical. The only thing is this one has this cool little mat, I guess, on top. See if I can peel that off, but don't mind, just because. And if you look inside here, see if we can see in there, actually looks pretty clean. From what I can tell, doesn't look too bad. Yeah, looks relatively clean. I'm gonna see if I can work this rubber donut out here, because that's got to go in for the filler neck on that side. And you'll notice, see how this one's got the vents here on it, and mine does not. So based on that, I can leave those plugged up because I don't need the vents. So we'll see. I'll research it, being the fuel injection model. I don't know if I'm gonna need to vent it or not, to be determined. Sometimes when you have electric fuel pump and return and all that, sometimes you actually need a vent, so it doesn't create this extra pressure in there. But we'll see. At least I have that option on here if I need to ventilate that. But right now everything looks good. So I'm going to get up in here and put it back all in there. But right here you can get a good shot of the new shocks, leaf springs, and the suspension stuff I did to it when I first got it. But the filler neck and all looks good. And that looks pretty good right there. No issues. Again, stock floor to be 54 years old. Floor looks good. Little surface rust is completely normal. Everything else is really solid in here on the car. And looks really good. One thing I want to show you, what a lot of people don't realize, whenever they get their car towed, and they put the hooks in your frame, when you put the hook in here and you travel a long distance, it actually starts to cut and peel back the metal. So that's perfectly normal when you tow a car like that. I don't like doing that. I never hook to the frame when I tow a car. I actually put a strap around the axle and strap it that way. But when you use those metal hooks, man, they are brutal. Look at that. That's just from the metal hooks when they had the car towed. Now they've had this car towed because they lived in Texas and they had it towed to North Carolina. So I'm assuming when the moving company towed it for them, they just hooked to the frame rails and they towed it. And I'm sure over the 54 years, maybe it got towed once or twice for service or something, but that's what happens when you put those hooks in the frame rails like that. It can definitely do damage. All right, so I have this fat mat sound insulation. So I end up putting that on top of my tank, just to give me a little bit of comfort so it's not metal on metal when I shove it up there in the car. And because I don't want to wait for the right gasket to come in, which hopefully Amazon gets here tomorrow, but it may be Monday. This is a rubber gasket for a fuel tank out of a Fox Body Mustang. So I get them at Fastlane. That's a brand new one, and that'll actually squeeze open to fit around the tube. Everything else fits in there really good. I put a little grease around it, dielectric grease, and let it slide in there appropriately. These are the straps. I did shoot them a little bit of black paint so they look nice. And I put a little bit of grease around the filler tube here so help let it slide into place a little bit. And while I was in there, I put a little bit of black paint around the frame rails a little bit, just to hide a little bit of that surface rust you're gonna see. Once the tank's in place, you won't see any else of this. But again, just got tired of waiting. I also have a vent tube rollover valve. So I am gonna vent the tank again. I think my cap's gonna be vented, but I wanna make sure I have enough ventilation. I don't wanna have any vapor lock problems. So I'm gonna use a 5/16 line that goes from here. I'm gonna run it to a high point up and around, and it's a rollover vent. So it's gonna be a ventilation, but then if the car ever has a problem and rolls over, it'll keep fuel from running out. So I'm gonna use that as an additional vent. So I don't have any problems with the car vapor lock or anything like that. I put my fittings in here. So you'll see I have a number 8 feed line, number 6 return line. So pretty straightforward. And I'm getting ready to stick it up in here. So enjoy. now you can see where they are hooked up. Straps are tight. How they come down through there. Painted straps actually look pretty good, contrasting against the new silver tank. And you can see the sweet Ford rubber donut there for the filler neck. Fits like a glove, slip right in, no issues. And these are the little alignment tabs from the bottom of the floor for the tank to fit up in there. And on this side, this is where the vent pipes come out, and you see they have plenty of room and clear, and it'll give me room to run my vent pipe that I'm gonna run for the rollover valve. This is the alignment tab here for this side of the tank. So everything fits perfect. Looks good. It's up in there tight. So now I can lower it down a little bit so I can get up here and actually start hooking up these fuel lines and the wires. You'll see the connection there for the gas gauge. It's a push-on connector. I gotta take that off and make it a ring terminal so it goes into the float gauge properly. But the new fuel tank, fuel pump, and all is in, hooked to the filler neck. It's not gonna leak. So, success.